Next up, Ryan Craven, talking about R Street, London. Ryan has been clinically obsessed with downtown London for over a decade. Failing therapeutic and medicinal treatments, he decided to pursue practical outlets for his obsessive tendencies. Received his MSc in Geography, Urban and Environmental Studies at Concordia, and worked in both the Planning and Environmental Programs Division at the City of London, where he coordinated London's first car-free Sunday. Let's welcome Ryan Craven.
So, I think streets are pretty important, not only because they're the most abundant form of public space in our city, but also because they are the very tangible link between us all. Streets connect us in a real and concrete way. So I begin my talk with this question: whose streets? We heard one answer from at the first Ignite London talk from Sean Galloway, who said that the city was designed for cars and cars alone, and that when this happens, people get left behind. Why is this a problem? Well, about 30% of our children and 60% of our adults are either overweight or obese. Rates of asthma are on the rise, and on top of that, you can add all the injuries related to car collision. Arterial roads divide neighborhoods and segregate communities. If the city was a living organism, these are the scars, deep cuts into the supple flesh of communities and neighborhoods. Canadians on average spend 63 minutes a day traveling to and from work. That's a full 12 days a year, the equivalent of most people's summer vacation. Cars are a massive contributor to local air pollution, and the largest local source of greenhouse gas emissions. Add to that the countless natural disasters associated with the extraction of petroleum. The process that closes the smaller, locally owned independent stores on our older commercial streets and opens the massive big box stores on High Park Road is driven by the car. The city that is designed for the car is also designed for big multinational corporations, and this is a problem because those profits leave our community. So now that we've established, or now that we're all aware of why cars are a problem, the question is, what does a non-auto-oriented city look like, and more importantly, how do we get there? Better yet, how do we avoid this? The first thing we must establish is how our city works. For time's sake, I'm going to make this very, very simple. The corporation, which is the bureaucrats, the council, the elected officials, and the community, us. From my experience on the inside, I can tell you that these two C's are dying for more of that C. It's called community engagement, and it's the hottest trend in municipal governance right now. There's the silly idea that a city is better for everyone when it's made by everyone. Thank you very much, Jane Jacobs. The sad truth is that the community is simply not participating enough, and the corporation doesn't know how to change this. However, on the occasions when the three C's work together, good things happen, like Car Free Sunday. This was a collaborative initiative involving all three C's, and this is why it was successful. 2010 was a big year for London. We witnessed the emergence of a new approach to the issue of auto dependence. People came together in celebration rather than protest. We simply used space typically used for cars in a different way, and we enjoyed doing it. I know I did. People love this. I think it tapped into a deep-seated desire to experience the street in a different way and from a different perspective. There's something incredibly fun about walking and playing on a street you usually only drive on or scurry across. Parking Day was incredibly beautiful, such a fun and effective statement. Let's put people where we usually park cars and see what happens. Both of the events were great demonstration projects, but the question is, how do we turn this into concrete, permanent changes to the built environment? And this is one potential avenue, don't mind the pun. But I'm not convinced the necessary changes will come from this alone. The community needs to organize and send a clear and consistent message to the corporation and the council that we want things like this. These kinds of changes don't cost very much money, but they do require a huge amount of will and organization from the community. There are so many little changes that can be made, and if we ask for them in the right way, I know that we'll get them. The problem is that too often the community is reactive rather than proactive. The community is very good at complaining, but rarely does it come together and collectively demand for progressive changes to the built environment. The changes don't even need to cost any money. They can be as simple as some plastic lawn furniture, a car-free street, and a sunny afternoon. There's no reason to accept the idea that London is just a conservative city. Cities with much more conservative populations have achieved seriously progressive change. Calgary's most recent mayoral election is evidence of this. The question isn't why, we know why, and it really isn't what, because we know what we need. The real question is how. And the answer isn't all that difficult to find. It's by working together. There's a really cute slide coming up. There we go. So to return to my initial question, to whom do streets belong? I'm pretty sure they're ours. If my application to the Community Vitality Grant is successful, I will use the funds to pay for the summit. If not, it'll be a potluck at my house. Either way, the streets will be ours. The streets won't be ours unless we make them so let's make them ours. Thank you.